I was born August 31st, 1948. In the Holy Cross, we don't have no big health centers over there, so you gotta go all the way down to Bethel. So I was born there and I was raised up in Holy Cross. And when I was growing up, my father was going back. He was going back and forth to McGrath. He was working for Bob Kerrs for a guide, and same time firefighting. So during the winter time, he'd go back to Holy Cross there to, stay for the winter. We had a little house. My grandpa and my dad built it. When I was a little kid, they had a mission. I was going to school there. They had 3-4 big gardens, plant a lot of potatoes. And we pick them. They get the whole town people to pick the potatoes. You got a big place in the mission to keep them cool there. And they come around with a garden tractor to harvest them, and they bring them all down the Yukon, all the way down to St. Mary's too. You got a mission down St. Mary's. I remember our fish camp, little fish house. It's just packed with fish, all the way to the door. Yeah. Feed the fish to the dogs all winter long. Yeah. I started off when I was a little kid, riding dog team. My grandpa had about 5-6 big dogs. They're pulling dogs, working dogs. I used to get the water from behind the hill. It's like a spring, and it never freezes there. You gotta have a little dipper there to fill up your 5 gallons there. Yeah. That's where we get the water from in the winter time. You get all the water, now you start on the wood. Them days we used to have them big 2-man saws there. That's how we used to go up on the hill and make maybe a cord of wood. $18 a cord. $18, I remember that. One time we got wood. It was hard, and we couldn't control the sled. It was going too fast. So it was going towards the old woman's house. So we had to jump out. We couldn't hold it back or nothing. So we jumped out and we watched that sled hit that house. Thought it was gonna go through. The old woman came out running. Gee, got her scared too. Yeah. We went down there to apologize to. Going to school in Holy Cross, 7th grade, I guess. Yeah. And we moved out to McGrath. My father was tired going back and forth. So 1964 we moved over there, right after that earthquake. Yeah. I was 12 when that earthquake struck. I was out with my uncle trapping out on the flats there, trapping beaver. And most of the earthquakes, they're jumpy, Yeah. This one was a rolling one there. You could see the land, It's just like the water, a big wave there, yeah. It's just rolling in, yeah. 2 years I went to school in McGrath, and we had to go out to boarding school in Oklahoma. There was a whole bunch of people from Holy Cross going out there, from all over the state almost there too. So in 1968 we went out to Shalaka, Oklahoma, right after school in May. Vietnam was calling there too, the service was calling, drafting, so they got me. I went to San Diego for boot camp. Me and my friend from Holy Cross. His name is Philip Sims. He's my best friend there. And I had two choices: either the Navy SEALs or the Marines. I was gonna try to get in there too, but my friend told me that he didn't want to come back in the coffin. So I told him, I'll just go join the Navy with you, I guess. So we both joined the Navy, and we went. After that, we got separated. He went on a carrier, and I was on a destroyer. So we went both different ways there. But during Vietnam, I caught up with his ship. My ship was guiding his carrier, USS Coral Sea. Yeah, that's last time I see him till we got out. Yeah. For me, I was going back in the second term. He let me off in Japan somewhere, Sasebo, Japan. Well, they wanted me to ship over, but I was lonesome for home, and I told them I just wanted to go home though. But when I came out, there was nothing to do. So after I came out, I signed, everything to get out. There's nothing to do, and I called him up and I told him, could I come back in? He said, nope, no, you couldn't come back in. No. So I just joined the National Guard after that too. And after the service, we went down to Seward for training, auto mechanics. All that training, they qualified me as a tire repairman. During that time, the pipeline was going on there, so they sent me up to, I never forget, I just have to look at my foot there, cold foot. Yeah. Them trailers, they're 18-wheelers, and sometimes they come in there with 4 or 5 flat tires, gotta change them all. One time we had to change some big scrapers, them big scraper tires, they're bigger than me, yeah. Reach way up there to reach the top, break it and change it and everything there too, yeah. And same time I was married too. I got married, and that was in 1974, and my first son was born, and I just didn't bother going back to work, yeah. I stayed home and work in McGrath because I want to stay home with my son there. So my father was working for DNR, and it was easy for me to get a job in the BLM fire. When I was there, I was a retardant mixer foreman. I had 3 people under me mixing that retardant, yeah. They're really big sacks. You gotta lift them up with a forklift, and they put them with helicopters, or you got them big bombers, and they make a little hunting knife, split it right over the hole. They drop it, and it washes out with that water mixed together, retardant, yeah. And it just spreads all over the fire too. And it's got some fertilizer in there for life could come back to, after they drop. And same time I was TCC, I was going to their meetings and everything. As a delegate, going up to Fairbanks, just yearly, every March, yeah. My father, John Andrews, I think he was on the board too, fighting for how people live, and so I'm the 3rd one in the family, and I took over what he's doing, Later on, we had another kid, and everything fell apart. It didn't work out. Right now, my 2 kids are down below. Yeah, so we got divorced, and later on, I met Sally, and so we had another kid named Junior. But my son, he didn't know how to swim, or, I tell him to wear life preservers all the time, So he went out in the canoe and tipped over. So that's a 3rd son I'm missing now. Yeah. So he drowned there too. And so that's just me and my wife there now. Yeah. Tough life. Yeah. In power for a long time there. Climbing poles, putting stringing lines out and putting lights up on the poles, meter reading, stretching wires out, and everything that what electricity do. And I worked for the interior housing there. When the housing was going up, I was a laborer with a hammer. Yeah. My boss, he always watched me, the Leonard, and said, how come you're with hammer all the time? Seems like you're working in carpentry more than labor, And he said, Leonard, I'm gonna get you a hammer I'm gonna get you a bag and get you a saw and get you everything you need to be a carpenter. So about a week later, you come back. I was no more labor. I was a carpenter. Yeah. We've got all the houses built over there too. You know how hammer is, you know. You take the back end of it, and that's how you hammer nails. Okay, this one kid, you know, he was using it halfway, and the other handle was sticking out about that much, and he was going like that. And that hammer is supposed to swing, you know, but he was going like, you know, like he's like that. And that big boss come around, we watched him, you know. Without saying nothing, he picked up his saw the other half off, okay. He threw it away and he said, no, you wouldn't get hurt by, you know, that other sticking out. That's the one you're supposed to use, not half of it, you know. So you wouldn't get hurt. Now he saw it off and he threw it away. Yeah. Yeah. My kids are down below. It's happened a long time ago, but you know, I still think about it here. You know, it's kind of hard for me to talk to people. I don't know really how to put it. I could see people worse than me, you know, kids struggling, you know, their parents die off or their uncles die off, you know. I could see it around McGrath there, you know, and they're still missing them too. But you know, people go around there and comfort them, and I try to comfort them too, you know, how. Yeah, well, it's like, just like me, I need a little comfort too. Yeah, so. But for me, you know, I'm 71 years old, and I remember when I was growing up, I was starting off with my father going out hunting. Yeah, taught me how to gut it up. I was only 9 years old, and after that, you know, I've been taking people out, you know, all my nephews, showing them how to hunt there too. Most of the kids don't know how to shoot their guns, you know. You gotta teach them right there how to handle their guns and do it properly. Yeah.